There are Emmy wins, and then there are moments that redefine what an Emmy even means. Owen Cooper's victory wasn't just another name being called on stage. It was a shattering of expectations, a rewriting of destiny, and the emergence of a voice the world had almost ignored. Behind the glittering trophy and the applause lies a story no one dared to tell, a journey riddled with failures, heartbreak, unlikely breakthroughs, and a twist so dramatic that it shook the entire television industry. This is not just a story about winning. This is the untold truth of Owen Cooper's Emmy win, the story that changed everything. Before the cameras, before the lights, before the fame, Owen Cooper was an outsider. Few people knew his name, and even fewer believed he would ever stand on the most prestigious stage in television. He wasn't born into a Hollywood dynasty. He didn't have connections carved in marble. Instead, Owen grew up fighting invisibility. His early projects went unnoticed, rejected countless times, and mocked by critics who called him too unconventional, too raw, too unrealistic. What no one knew at the time was that these so-called flaws were the very things that would later make him unstoppable. While others played it safe, Owen was already building a style the industry wasn't ready for. Owen's journey to the Emmy stage wasn't a straight line. It was a battlefield. His early years in television were marked with rejection letters stacked so high they could form their own tower. Some executives laughed him out of meetings. One famously said, "This will never make it to air." Yet instead of surrendering, Owen used those rejections as fuel. His breakthrough came when he created a piece of work that no one could ignore, a show that carried the weight of realism and authenticity so deeply, audiences felt it in their bones. It wasn't polished like traditional TV. It wasn't safe. It was Owen's truth, and that truth exploded into the culture. Suddenly, he went from the nobody to the one everyone wanted to copy. The Emmy Awards have seen their share of legends, but when Owen Cooper's name was announced, the room froze. Some clapped with shock, some gasped in disbelief. Many didn't see it coming because his work had been considered too raw, too daring, too real. Yet here he was, standing with a golden trophy in hand, a symbol of recognition that proved the world had finally caught up to his vision. But behind that smile on stage was a storm no one saw. Because for Owen, this win wasn't just about art, it was about survival, about proving every doubter wrong, and about carrying the weight of the countless battles that almost destroyed him. He wasn't just the result of a single project, it was the culmination of years of hidden sacrifice, the nights he went without sleep, the projects he self-financed when nobody believed in him, the friends he lost along the way because he chose passion over comfort, the moments he questioned whether he was insane for chasing a dream so unforgiving. Few people know that just months before his Emmy-winning project aired, Owen nearly walked away from television entirely. He was on the verge of quitting, exhausted from the endless uphill climb. But then, one final spark pushed him forward. That spark created the masterpiece that not only won an Emmy, but also carved his name into the history of television forever. Owen Cooper didn't just win an Emmy, he broke the mold of what an Emmy could represent. He redefined storytelling by refusing to bend to the system. Instead of playing the industry's game, he changed the game entirely, and in doing so, he gave hope to every outsider who was told they would never belong. Today, his victory stands as proof that sometimes the most powerful voices come from the most unexpected places. And though the industry celebrates his Emmy as a triumph of art, those who know the untold story understand it was more. It was a war won by sheer grit, courage, and an unshakable belief in himself. Owen Cooper's Emmy win wasn't just history, it was destiny fulfilled. It wasn't luck, it wasn't privilege, and it wasn't the system finally being kind. It was one man's refusal to be silenced. His story reminds us that greatness doesn't come from being accepted, it comes from being undeniable. And so the golden trophy that sits in his hands is more than just an award. It is a monument to resilience, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, when the world says no, one person's fire can burn so brightly it cannot be ignored. This is not just Owen Cooper's Emmy story. This is the untold truth of fighting against all odds and winning.